Hi, this is Scott Jordan, and you are watching live here at Cellars of Sonoma in beautiful Railroad Square, Santa Rosa, California. Hi, everybody, and welcome to TV Tuesday Live. This is the show that we talk about wine, we taste wine, and I get to, from time to time, interview winemakers and chefs. Although last week I had Karina as my co-host. That was fun, and we did a food and wine pairing. I'll talk a little bit more about another little idea that we have in that vein. But tonight I've got one of our premier winemaker and winery owners, John Bambury from Bonneau Wines. John, welcome to TV Tuesday Live.
Nice to be here again, Scott.
Yeah, good to have you. We're going to go through some of your wines. Now, you've got a few more than what we have here, but we gathered a group of wines that are unique in some respects, and we've got some wine specials going on a couple of them, and we'll talk about that.
Yep.
They're super deals, and the wines are pouring really, really good. So we're loving life. We're going to taste Chardonnay today. This is the Sonoma Coast 2010, relatively new release for us here. We blew out that 09, loved it. God,
that was a big winner.
That was a good wine.
And
this is right there. I mean,
this is a follow-up. It's a little bit from a little different section of the vineyard than the 09 was, and it's just kind of to highlight some of our newer clones that we've been bringing on since 2006, and that are just hitting some nice maturity right now.
Nice.
This got a gold medal here in January at the Chronicle Wine Tasting. Yes.
Excellent.
So I know that it's in just perfect condition now for release, and it's going well.
Yeah, no, and we're loving that. Retail price on it is $34, $28.90 if you're smart enough to be a wine club member, and many of you are that are tuning in. Where's Brad today? Brad Harder's in town. I don't know if you remember, Brad won 17 bottles. He's a really good wine club member. He lives in Wyoming. And but he plays the game because every time he comes into town, he does the blind tasting. Mm-hmm. So he gets to enter into the contest again. So he's no dummy. He figured that out.
And he's won.
Yeah, he's won 17 bottles. Yeah, he's the biggest.
All at once, or?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He just was lucky.
Lucky.
Okay.
But he was smart because he came in and he did the tasting, which we don't restrict the number of times you can come in and do that. So that's why the bag's so freaking full, man. That thing is chock full. Yeah, big time.
All right, well, we need to pick a winner tonight.
Yeah, we want a winner tonight. And so Brad's in town here. I'm surprised he hasn't popped in, but we'll wait.
He may.
He might. Oh, he definitely will, yeah. Yeah, he was here last night, so he was having fun. He was drinking this wine, but no, he was drinking the Rock Pile. That's what we had for him. So we're going to start with Chardonnay. Tell us now, John, tell us the style of this. This is 2010. It's all from the Bonneau vineyard.
It is from the Bonneau, all from the Bonneau vineyard, and this is all.
My drinking camera girl.
Through secondary malolactic fermentation.
Okay.
It's primarily the 96 and 17 clones from our vineyard.
So for a lot of the people, when you talk about clones, they're not really following that, John. So give us a little. Why do you like that clone? Why was that produced that way? And what are we talking about when we say clone? I mean, I know the answer, but
well,
kind of.
Every grape varietal has a number of different flavor profiles attributed to that particular varietal. And Chardonnay probably has, since it's one of that is the single biggest varietal in the world in terms of its production. It also has, I don't know if it has the most, but just about the most different characteristic flavor profiles. And as those flavor profiles are identified, they assign a clone number to it.
Okay.
And so as a grower, I have to evaluate what I think will grow good in my vineyard and still offer some distinction to the wine. When we first planted, we only had one clone on our 40 acres. It was the Martini clone number 4, was developed in Carneros by Louis Martini. Not some guy that was fooling around with olives and onions and some vodka.
No, yeah. He's the man. He's got a big history in this town.
He does. He also developed, he's developed a lot of flavor profiles. But anyway, we're talking about Chardonnay right now. And that was the single clone we had in the vineyard. As I got into making wine, I wanted to add some complexity and some different alternatives for our customers. And researched it and decided that I should add 3 clones to the Martini clone.
Okay.
One of them is the Robert Young selection of the Wente clone. So here you have a grower notorious for his vineyards in Alexander Valley, Robert Young.
Robert Young, killer, making some killer wine.
He's over the years, he developed a liking to certain vines that were producing wine from his Wente clones. So he decided to single that out. He takes the cuttings after harvest.
Okay.
The vines go dormant. You take cuttings, takes UC Davis and registers them, and then they become a new selection that other growers can have in their vineyard.
Now, is it possible that you could see a clone like that in other parts of the country that produces Chardonnay? There's not a huge amount.
Well, it's possible if a grower wanted to select that, and they do. It's a very popular clone, Clone 17, but it's only been out, I'm going to say 10 years or so.
Okay.
It takes years and years and years to develop a specific clone.
I got you.
Grapes have been around, obviously,
Long
for
time.
thousands of years,
Yes.
if not more. And so it's taken generations and generations of experience in the vineyard. And imagine how long it takes, since it takes at least a year just to get one crop off,
Right.
to have experimented and decided that a particular vine in your vineyard or a group of vines are giving you a certain flavor profile that you want to copy and reproduce. So I have that one, this Robert Young. Another one I have is a Dijon clone. Now, this Robert Young clone is indigenous then to California since he developed it. But the Dijon clone comes from France,
Right.
and it's a whole different genus.
Sorry, your mic keeps going out.
Okay. So you mean to tell me people aren't hearing me?
They are, but it's
It's in and
Is
out
that in your headphone or is that in the?
in the headphone. All right. Is this working better now? And now is it in stereo? It is?
It's in stereo. Of course it's in stereo. Now, I gave him the best mic. There was no question. Although you kept telling me it was cutting out.
I know.
Are your floppers moved to they're okay.
All right.
All right. So, talking about the
The Dijon clone.
Dijon.
It's indigenous to France,
Okay.
and it's developed by a nursery over there in France, and then they're registered and brought over here. so I wanted a French, specifically French indigenous clone. And by the way, going back a second, the Robert Young clone in my vineyard, it gives a pear and white peach flavor profile.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay, so now the Dijon clone that we have, not clone 96 now, is more of a Granny Smith apple flavor profile. The Martini clone, the Martini Carneros clone 4, is pineapple tropical fruit. And then the last clone that I have is 809, which is another French clone, and it's called the Muscat clone. And it imparts a more floral kind of almost like Viognier flavor profile, but it is Chardonnay. And I use that, I only have an acre of that. I use that as my spice cabinet. So you don't want to put too much in and overpower the wine, but it adds a certain element of complexity. You'll be seeing that in the 2011 vintage. So it's not in this particular wine here. This is a combination of the 96 and 17.
Now, when you're harvesting, you're bringing in the fruit, you're barrel aging and barrel fermenting that. You're keeping it all separate.
Yes.
Right?
In the winery.
Yeah, and then blend it at the end.
Then we go through, as a matter of fact, we're going through that barrel selection right now because we're getting ready to bottle the 2012 vintage in June.
Okay.
And we're making our barrel selections now. Not all of the barrels and wine that we have in the winery will go into the Bonneau. There are other brands now that are selecting from our wine. They're letting me make it, and then they're taking some of that wine and putting their label on it and blending it the way they want to.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Love that.
Well, and it kind of keeps things rolling along because we can make quite a bit more wine than we sell each year. So from our vineyard. So we do sell to other wineries and to other vintners our wine.
Excellent. Love it. Well, this is showing really, really nice. You know, it's got that nice creamy finish. You can tell there's a hint of oak, but it's not, overdone. It's very well balanced, and we're in that kind of weather where we need it because, man, it's been hot.
Unusually.
Well, since you were bringing up, you have a question?
I do.
Okay. Well, let's go to Karina because she has a question and she won't let me stop.
So this question comes from Zdedel.
Okay.
And he would like to know if Chardonnay is as prone to mutation like the fragile Pinot Noir grape.
If it's prone to what?
Mutation.
Mutation?
Yeah. Mutation.
Well, I suppose to some extent it can happen, and that's how these different flavor profiles develop. It's an area a little bit beyond me. I'm certainly not looking for any mutations in my vineyard, and I'm not discovering any. But if you have a really large vineyard, you're going to see some differences in the various, even though they're the same clone, different flavor profiles. So
how many acres are you farming over there?
we just have 40 acres.
Okay.
We're in the process of replanting at the moment. We planted originally in 1988. In 2006, we planted the 96 and 17. In 2007, we planted the 809. And then in 2011, we planted more 96 and new Clone 4 Martini clone. So it's only 1 year old now. It's going into its second leaf this year. And we'll get a small crop next year and then begin to get a decent crop on the fourth leaf or fourth year.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, you keep producing this wine consistently year and year after. It is really wonderful, and I can't wait to see what that 12's all about. We've heard so much about that
vintage.
Yeah, vintage being a rock star.
You have to wait till the 11. The 11's the next one on the hit parade.
Well, 10 and 11 were tough years, right? I mean, they were not as easy to figure out as 12 was. I mean,
we don't want to get them too worrying about too much about 11 yet, but probably pretty soon we'll start releasing the 11. It's distinctively different than this particular.
was part of that the challenges of the vintage year? Or?
We're real lucky where our vineyard is. It's down there, close to San Pablo Bay.
Yeah.
And Sonoma is not taking the brunt of the weather, what do I want to say, conundrums, I guess, that we've been having. And it's stayed pretty consistent. So we've been getting our fruit reasonably ripe. I know 11 was a challenge, but we got it good enough to make a good wine out of it, a great wine, actually. And we didn't suffer any mold. Now, I have a lot of buddies in the business that suffered because the rains got to them. And it's just a little bit less rainy down there in Sonoma. And you can just look on rainfall, and you'll see Sonoma's low on the rainfall. Maybe about half as much, for instance, as Santa Rosa right here, and we're only, half an hour drive away.
Yeah, at that.
But it's still Sonoma County. Anyway, down there it's pretty temperate, and so anyway, we did get a good crop in 11, and I know it was troubling for some vineyards, but we did well.
And from what I'm hearing on what they've bottled already, what we've seen out there, I like the 11s. I'm having good results from what I've seen so far. And so we can't wait. It's going to be a little bit of time. We'll have that, but you're going to.
Well, and the 11 is just now showing. It took 8 or 9 months in the bottle before it all started coming back together again. But just now, I've been tasting it, and it's ready to go. So we'll probably release it here in this tasting room in a couple of months.
Okay.
And we'll have a big show.
Good deal. We'll do that. All right, so let's go to the next one, and then what we're going to do is I'm going to draw a name out of the hat because Brad just walked in, and he's one of our good friends and wine club members and customer that comes in frequently. And he's won our contest a couple times. Twice, right?
Twice?
Yeah, twice, yeah.
How many bottles is that, Brad? 27. Holy tamale. You're kidding, right?
No, he's not. No.
27 bottles.
And I showed on camera how many are in there. This thing's not rigged. I'm telling you, he just comes, when he visits the tasting room, he does exactly what I said you could do, which is to do the tasting and enter the contest. That's the bottom line.
There's another important trick. You got to be here, don't you?
To win, yeah, but he tunes in every week and he's waiting.
Or at least hear your name and call in.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
can call in, right?
Yeah, the guys that are watching from all over the country. Yeah, we pull your name, just get on the phone and call, and we'll let you have it. It's up to 10 bottles. It's going to stay at 10 until we get a winner. So, so let's move into Zinfandel. We've got a nice 2007 Dry Creek Valley Zin. We've got a great, a super deal on this wine. This is like the no-brainer wine. First of all, 07, great vintage year. I'm, loving the wines from 07.
Now, this is a wine that just have some extra stock on it, and I'm offering a deal on it. But Scott, here's a question I hear all the time.
Okay.
How long should I keep a wine?
All right, that's a great question. So how long should you keep it?
Well, you should keep it as long as it takes until it's drinking to your satisfaction. In order to do that, people will buy like a bottle or two and want to know how long they should lay it down. Well, that's not the answer to that is nobody knows. But if you want to do it the constructive way, you'd need to buy about a case, let's say, of a certain wine. Drink a bottle right away, write some notes down, tell yourself what you think of it, and decide in your own mind, hey, is this a wine I want to drink now, or is it a wine I want to lay down for a while?
Right.
So let's say you decide it's not ready yet, lay it down and revisit it in about a year. And then you do the same thing. And try to compare your notes now and see how that wine's coming along. It may take you several years before it reaches its maturity that you like as a drinker. And that's a very subjective thing. It's nothing even the winemaker can't tell you when a wine is going to be ready. You can certainly taste it, decide. But anyway, this wine is an 07. It was bottled in 09. So it's been stored very carefully in our temperature-controlled warehouse for 9 and 13, 4 years. I think it's drinking pretty darn good.
It sure is.
Heck of a nose. What do you think, Brad? Yeah.
And you've got a deal on it. It's a 2-for-1 deal that just doesn't get any better than that. That's a real. It was a great wine at 26. It's certainly 2-for-1. You can't go wrong. And to your point, go ahead and get a case of that wine. You're getting a real good deal on it, and maybe pull a bottle even maybe every 6 months just to kind of get a feel for how it's aging.
So this is just loaded with spice and kind of a brambleberry, raspberry flavor profile, black raspberry, and plenty of fruit on it, even though it's been in the bottle for 4 years. This is...
Yeah, I could see you could say another 5 years.
Yeah, you could. But you need to get a case, drink a bottle. This is a perfect opportunity because we're letting you in cheap and
really cheap.
Yeah.
That's a real deal. That's
well,
and that's your
I
premium
have to
label.
make room in my warehouse for the next vintages, and that's the whole idea of being in this club and being a member at Cellars of Sonoma. When that opportunity presents itself, jump on it.
Yeah, because gang, we talk about this every week. When this stuff's gone, it's gone. There's no other resource that I can go to. When John says, no, that's the last bit, trust me, it's gone, and then it's over. You missed it. And that wine's pouring as good as you could ask.
It's not like it doesn't taste good and we're getting rid of it. This
No,
tastes
it's a
great and
wonderful wine.
we're selling it.
Yeah. Oh, fantastic wine. So let's do something fun. Now, when you guys come in the tasting room, we have flight tastings. We do a food and wine pairing. You can do it with or without the food. And then we now have a varietal tasting. So you taste 4 different varietals. We don't tell you the order, and you got to guess. So you taste a Pinot, what do we got? A Pinot, a Zin, Syrah, and a Cap. Thanks, Brad. Brad knew that.
He's a professional taster.
Yes. And if you get the tasting correct, your tasting is free. So you can't go wrong with that. And you get to enter into a contest to buy a bottle of wine for $1. And so we've been playing this game for a couple of years now. We've had some big winners. One of our biggest winners is here right now, Brad from Wyoming. And you guys have to take a look at this. I'm not kidding you. And there's a lot of names that aren't in here. And here's how you not get in the drawing or get out of the drawing. If I draw your name and you're not tuned in, you get an email from me, and that's probably the most irritating email you'll ever get. I keep you out until I get a winner, and then I put everybody back in. There's another bag that's chock full of the winners that
have been selected,
yes,
but we're not tuned in.
Right. So those of you that are watching understand the game. Brad, who visits us frequently from Wyoming, he gets the game. So he's probably in here a couple times. But I'm
He
gonna.
gets to keep his ticket in there. He's here.
Well, I mean, yeah, he's here, you know. But if I pull his name and he wasn't tuned in, he'll get an email. He won't be happy. No, he'll be very, very upset. Now the deal's at 10. This is getting serious now. We're not screwing. This is pretty amazing. Now I'm stirring this up. Okay, I am stirring this up, and I'm not going to draw it. So I don't want to hear anybody going, "He fixed it."
It's a fix.
There's no fix. Can't be a fix. Here we go. All right. I mixed it up. All right, John, do the honors, man. Dig in there and find us a name. Oh, look at Brad's over there going, "You gotta get my name." Yeah, I don't think so. Let's see. Brad. Oh, he almost had a heart attack. That would have been a rig. He's in there though. He's probably in there twice, maybe. 2, maybe 3 times. Yeah. John Sobchak, Sobchak, Sobchak. A 713 area code. 713. I have no idea where that is. I have no idea. 713 doesn't ring a bell at all. Anybody that's viewing that knows where that is, 713 area code.
John needs to call.
John needs to call, and you know, I had a gal that I pulled her name, and she lives locally, and she came in the other day. I just sent her an email. She goes, "I just got your email. I'm here to do the tasting again." I go, "There you go. Now you're playing." So she's tuned in. I'll guarantee she's tuned in. So John, you've got until the end of the show to give us a call. So John Sobchak, it's Sobchak, from 713 area code. I have no idea. Houston. Oh, well, good.
Houston,
Texans.
Texas.
You guys pay attention now. Come on. You drink a lot of wine. The Texans drink a lot of wine.
Oh, they do, and in Houston for sure.
For sure. So there's your chance, man. Wait till you get my email. Gotta love it. Okay, so 2007 Dry Creek Valley Zinfandel. It's a beautiful wine. John's offering this deal on it, not because it's not a beautiful wine. It is clearly a very nice wine. You're going to get the deal of the century, 2 for 1, until it's gone, and then we move on.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
No issues there. All right. So we got kind of a Zin theme going, but I've got a reason for that. So you recently came out with with 2 reserve Zinfandels.
Yes.
This is this is labeled as a 2008 Dry Creek Valley Zin Vintner's Reserve Selection. Mm-hmm. Tell us, first of all, how much of this did you didn't do very much of this. What? It says
100 cases.
100 cases, 90 cases. So you did something unusual in aging this wine, which I don't see out there in the marketplace. Tell everybody what you did when you were aging this wine.
So I really like the 2008 vintage, which we did bottle in 2010. But I liked it so much that I decided I would reserve 4 barrels.
Okay.
And re-oak it and hold it over another year. This is the result of this. So it was aged about 33 months in oak and twice new oak. So it had new oak.
Okay, so that everybody's clear, so they understand it, because that's really unusual. So you aged it for about what, 22 months, or your
2 months.
22 months.
Yep.
And then you put it in a stainless steel tank, and then laid out some new barrels, and pumped that juice into those.
Just transferred it from one barrel to the other. Didn't even need to go in a stainless steel tank.
So you went direct from
barrel to barrel.
Barrel to barrel.
But we selected 2 new barrels and 2 once used barrels.
Okay.
But re-barreled it after 22 months and then aged it another 12 months before bottling it. And this is the result. I haven't tasted it in a while, so it'll be interesting to see.
Well, what you guys out there that are watching, that are hearing what John is saying, you have to respect how long this process is taking and how expensive it is to do this
Yeah.
because you're not seeing a return on your investment for clicking on probably almost 5 years. By the time you leave it in the bottle for another year after you bottled it, and here we are, 2013, and we're just now starting to sell that wine. That's a huge commitment, John. That's a big, and then on top of that, you have vintages behind it. It's not like the vineyard shut down and you didn't do anything and didn't produce any wine for the last 5 years. You got 5 other vintages right behind it. I mean, that's amazing.
It's interesting too. The word reserve is not defined in winemaker terms, so you can call something a reserve.
Yum.
If you just want to, yeah, that's
pouring good, John.
It's almost like liqueur. It's
Now, does the fact that you aged it in that second set of barrels, does that help in the longevity of being able to age the wine? Does it give it a little?
it just adds a lot of depth and character to the wine.
Okay.
This wine will last a lifetime if properly cellared.
Yeah. So again, this is another wine you want to lay it down, but you want to revisit it. Keep revisiting. Get a case of it. Put it down and.
Let's see. When did we release this, Scott? Not that long ago, right? Less than a year ago.
Yeah.
And it's still coming on.
Yeah, it's rocking and rolling, man. When I get somebody in that tells me that they want a big wine, I pull this out and they're floored. They're absolutely blown away. They can't believe what they're tasting. I mean, it's pretty shocking. Retail price on that is $55, but you know what? That's a bargain when you think about what you had to go through to make this wine. That was an expensive proposition.
It was not only the time, but I think it was worth it. It's just one of those exceptional Zinfandels coming from Dry Creek and right off of Linton Springs Road, and just really great fruit. And we harvested that just before a storm. I remember the grower worried that the grapes would be ruined if we didn't get them off before the storm, and we did. So this is it.
Well, it's again, this is an example of the ultimate in small production wines. I mean, 90 cases, 100 cases, that's not a lot of wine, man. That's barely 3.5, 4 barrels. I mean,
No, and we'll just keep it this way. This won't be going on special.
No, it's too special the way it is now.
No, it's special the way it is.
Yeah. No, I'm loving life. That's a beautiful wine. You have a question? Go ahead. Fire away, Karina.
So Dan is wondering about your thoughts on the new Congress tax that everybody's talking about online sales. Do you know how it's going to affect your sales or anything about that?
Wow, I'm not sure I know what's going on. Scott, do you?
I'm hearing rumblings of it, and they've been, digging around. It's bad enough the government's got their hand in our pocket as it is from every angle of the planet. If you live outside of the production area, in this case outside of California, when we ship wine to you, you don't pay any sales tax. And I think they're really trying to get in your pocket. And we have to fight that. And as consumers, there's an excellent website that deals with a lot of these issues. It's called Free the Grape. And they deal with the shipping laws in the states, but they'll also hook you up where you put in your state that you're in, and you can actually send a letter, and they'll get it right to the congressman or to the senator for your particular area if you object to the new law. So go visit Free the Grape. I think it's a good resource. As consumers, it's hard enough trying to make a living as it is. To actually have to pay more money is just absurd. You're just trying to make a living. You're trying to run a business, and it's absurd that you would have to be nickeled and dimed.
And the consumer is not going to realize that each bottle is being taxed, and that's raising their price.
Yeah, because it's not. Because here's the other reality, gang. Okay, you ultimately are going to be paying for that. the small producer at this level, the margins are so thin that they can't absorb all of these additional costs. They can't. You'll go broke.
No,
and
it
and
just
the
has to
consumer,
be passed on.
it's got to be passed on.
It has
So
to be passed on.
if you have an opportunity to go to Free the Grape, it's a great resource. You'll be amazed on how they do their thing on the website, and you can definitely voice your opinion, because you do get to vote for these clowns. So yeah, we don't want that intercommerce. We don't want any of that tax. We want that to stay nice and free the way it is now, which it should be. So great question, Dan. We're right with you, man. And Dan, how's that weather there, man? Are you guys done with the snow gig, or what's the deal? In fact, well, Brad was telling me he had snow, right? Those were pictures yesterday you showed me. Yeah, snow, isn't that something?
In Wyoming.
Yeah. Is that crazy? I mean, it's like, it was 85 out today. It was really awful, terrible. I love that part. Now, we added a wine that we weren't going to actually taste tonight, because one of our newest bloggers, our buddy Hobie, he is, in fact, he came to us through, my wife was doing an event with another winery, and they found out about this cool seminar that he does, and he does a blind seminar where you literally are blindfolded, and Hobie is blind from birth, and so it kind of puts everybody at the same level. And it's an interesting. I saw parts of it at a winery during barrel tasting weekend, and it was amazing. And you taste these wines blind, and then they have white wines in the tasting, but they're at room temperature, which brings everything to the same level. And it's interesting that you do that. And Hobie runs that, and we're going to try to help him develop that and do more of that type of seminar. And so I invited him to be one of our bloggers, and so he got the last shipment, and he got it after you and I had already tasted the wine live. So Hobie's the only one of the bloggers that hasn't tasted this wine yet.
Okay.
So he's going to taste it tonight for the first time. So I thought, well, what the heck? Then all of us will taste it. So everybody gets a little treat.
I'll say.
Yeah. Now this is another cool wine. There's certain appellations in California that if I see it on the label, I'm buying it. Rockpile is clearly one. I love the Rockpile wines, and Howell Mountain over in Napa is another one that, God, if you give me a bottle of Howell Mountain, I'm just gonna buy it.
Howell Mountain, anything.
Right. It's just, I don't care, man. I haven't had a bad one. And the same with Rockpile. I won't tell you the name of the winery I went to and saw over the weekend, but they had a ton of Rockpile wines. God, John, they were all stellar. Every freaking one of those were unbelievable. And there's only I want to say there's, how many growers?
There's 200 acres and maybe a handful of growers.
Yeah, like 12 or 14 or something.
That's it.
Right?
Just very few.
Yeah, I mean, and it's the smallest appellation in the area, but
yeah,
the reason that it's so cool is because of the rocks. I mean,
we get some of our Pinot from the St. Jaguars. They have 1,700 acres, and they're just one of the growers in Sonoma County. Mm-hmm. Kendall Jackson, I believe, has over 2,500 acres, and so I know Gallo has
a boatload.
A lot of acres here in Sonoma County.
They sure do.
So 200 acres to be an appellation is really
tiny. Now you did a similar thing here. You aged this in French oak for 22
and American oak.
And American.
Yeah.
For 22 months.
For 22 months, we didn't do the extra reserve thing that we did with the 08, but it's the Rockpile.
Now it's a 2000. It's a 2009, right?
This is a 2009. So these two, the 08 and the 09, were actually bottled together in 2011.
Right. Okay. Right. Sure. Because the other one was right behind it. Got it. So great vintage year, number one. Awesome location, without a doubt, for fruit.
No, flavor profile than
Oh,
the
totally.
08.
See, I like really big wines.
This
the bigger
is
the
bigger.
better. Yeah, if the
Not
big
quite
mouthfeel,
as
I'm all over that.
elegant and luscious as that one, but still got a lot of body, a lot of nice fruit,
Oh,
and
real nice.
good tannin structure.
Yeah. All over it. That is a beautiful wine, and I could see again. Geez, 5-7 years on that aging, no
It's
problem.
just going to keep getting better.
That is magnificent.
Totally drinkable right now, though.
Yeah. So sorry, Dan. You guys already tasted that, so you're not. Hobie's the only one who's got this one right now, and he'll be writing his blog, and we'll see his opinion. But yeah, not a bad little wine. Retail price on that is $50. If you're a wine club member, you get 15% off on most of the wines, up to 20 on reorders. A pitch out there for those of you that are tuned in that are not wine club members. Here's what you have to remember. It's really not about the discount. That's not really what it's about. It's really about access to the small production wines. These are wines you're not going to go in your grocery store, your liquor barn, or wherever you buy your wine. You're not going to see these because they're such small production wines. They just don't make the national distribution. So it's really about access. But the bonus then is that you do get a little better price consideration. That's pretty cool. And if you're local and you go to our events, you get a better price on events. If you come in the tasting room and you want to do a flight tasting, it's on us. You can even bring guests. You're invited to special events. We do one a year. Like a gala event. We have all 9 vintners in here. Those are cool events, and those are perks. But the bottom underline of all of that is access to the juice. That's what we're talking about. In fact, somebody gave me a name. No, was it him? Was it you that gave me a name? You were in yesterday. There was somebody gave me a name. What that I'm supposed to call myself? I'm the one. It'll come. The wine hunter, that's right. I'm the wine hunter. So I thought that was I'm a wine hunter. Go ahead, Karina, you got a question. Fire away.
All right, so this next question comes from Dan, and he's wondering if you have a favorite vineyard.
A favorite vineyard for red or white?
I'm going to say both.
Well,
Why not?
yeah.
All right, well, I can't help myself but to think that my vineyard in Sonoma and the Carneros there is really putting out some excellent Chardonnay. And I can't tell you where I've tasted a better one. So I like that for the white for sure. Then, when it comes to, you kind of depends on the varietal and the terroir. So
Right.
The Pinot, I've got the San Giacomo vineyards, and I just can't beat them. I'm using grapes from both Carneros and Petaluma Gap. And I understand, now I can't confirm this, but I understand Petaluma Gap will be soon a new appellation.
Wow. So those of you from other parts of the country that are tuning in tonight, look on your, don't do it right now, but look up the Petaluma Gap so you get a feel for what we're talking about. That could be pretty cool because they've been arguing that point for a long time that it does have a different profile than some of that Los Carneros and.
So my brother's the vineyard manager at Bonneau, Catherine Bonneau Vineyard. But we have a contract farmer, and his name is Jean-Marie Martin. He's a Frenchman. He also is a contract farmer for St. Giacomo. So coincidentally, he farms the Roberts Road, Petaluma Gap vineyard for San Giacomo, and he and I were talking yesterday about the weather conditions of unseasonably warm weather, and we were talking about Petaluma Gap and how much warmer it is in Carneros compared to the Petaluma Gap. And as the crow flies, we're not talking being too very far away from our vineyard. Maybe I don't think it's 10 miles. As the crow flies, you got to wind out around over the mountain there, but there's a little pocket where it receives cool weather or breezes from the Pacific Ocean and Tamales Bay, blast right through what they call this Petaluma Gap, and it just keeps this microclimate keeping just that much cooler. So I certainly like that vineyard for my Pinot and the grower St. Giacomo. For the cab, I've been very lucky to get a prime spot in the Caton Vineyard to get my cab for the last since 2008. And I get the 337 clone, south-facing hill with rocky clay soil, very near the Monte Rosso, famous Monte Rosso vineyard that again our pal Louis Martini.
Yeah.
But
that's a cool spot. That's a great vineyard. I got a chance to go to that vineyard and do a tour with Ty Caton, and first of all, it's really hilly. I mean, we went through there in four-wheel drives, man. You
need a four-wheel drive to get through it, no question. I mean, you would agree, right?
Yeah,
you wouldn't try that in a car.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But it couldn't be in a better spot. I mean, it's a beautiful spot. It's getting all the right weather conditions, and the soil's right. And, that makes a beautiful cab.
So I have to say those are my three favorite vineyards and growers at the moment. I still get fruit from other places. I've got some Malbec in the cellar at much request.
Bravo!
Scott's been pulling for that.
Well, you know why, John? Because
this is Sonoma Valley.
I made the biggest mistake ever early on in the game. Because our tasting room is not really big, whenever I order a new wine from one of the wineries, I order 3 cases. I put one on the wall over here, one in the back, and one underneath. I don't have a lot of room. And he brought in, one of the wines we brought in was a Malbec. Didn't think anything about it. All of a sudden, we started to pour it and blew it out. I was down to the last few bottles, and I said, yeah, John, I need to get another 3 cases. And he goes, what Malbec?
Yeah, it's all gone.
It was gone. And dummy me, at the time that I ordered, I could have had a whole lot more than that. And that was the lesson, that was the only time I learned my lesson, and now I pay attention to the numbers, because when this stuff's gone, and then it really
it's hard to source.
Malbec
Malbec
was a great
is
bottle of wine. Yeah. That was a really great bottle of wine.
Yeah, you're talking about the 2005 now. You're going back there.
No, but that was a great. Oh, come on.
So I don't know. I'll try to measure up with this next one. But that was a Napa Valley Malbec, and this is going to be Sonoma Valley. And it's taken me a while to find a good source in Sonoma for Malbec. It rarely comes up the opportunity to get the grapes, because there's just not a lot of
I bet not.
Ground under cultivation for Malbec in Sonoma.
Will it be all Malbec? Or will there be blenders in there?
Yeah, no, I think 100% Malbec. But I've got more than one vineyard, so I have 3 vineyards. I'm gonna make a nice one. Don't worry.
I love that. I love that.
More people don't grow Malbec here.
Go ahead and ask that question. We have Brad in the audience here, because we love.
So is there a reason that more people don't?
I'm at a loss for an explanation, but absolutely should be planting more Malbec. It's a really popular grape.
Super popular.
It tastes great, and it's also an excellent blender in the Bordeaux varietals. And for some reason, grower after grower wants to plant Syrah and Merlot, and we don't need any more of that.
We got plenty of that.
Yeah, we do.
Well, the other one too, and I lobby for it as much as I can, and I don't get a lot of good result. But I am also a Cabernet Franc. I love Cabernet Franc, but I've heard too many things from the winemakers where it's not a complete grape.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
It's hard to find one that's agreeable enough to stand alone and as a to bottle it as a varietal. Furthermore, it's not very popular at restaurants or on the store shelf, but in a tasting room,
It does well.
it does well.
They love Cab Franc, and boy, you could suck me in on Cab Franc, Rock Pile, and Howell Mountain. I'm in, and if it's a Malbec, my radar's up. Even in the wineries that are kind of iffy, if I'll taste it more than once to see if I, they really could make a nice wine. Because I love the varietal. It's just kind of my, it's just my thing.
Well, so you're going to have to hang on probably another couple of years. I'll probably get in the bottle next year sometime, but then it's going to need to sit a little while.
All right, well,
before.
get talking to the county about that train, and let's get that thing going. So we're, we need that extra little push. So excellent. Now let me do one thing. Let me since we didn't get a winner right away here.
Pull
Lord,
another one.
let's pull another name.
Pull another rabbit out of the hat.
Yeah, we'll pull another one, and then we'll do one at the very end of the show. And I've got one more wine, so you guys hang tough with me. I'm just messing this up. Oh, look at Brad. He's over there. He's drooling. He's going, oh, man, it's only a matter of time.
Well, I don't understand why you don't draw until you get a winner.
I am just keep pulling? Oh, well, we might do that, too.
I mean, when you get to 10, keep drawing until you get a winner.
Well, you could do that, too, but I want to keep, viewership. That's what it's really all about. John Gibson, 559. Where is that? Alaska? 559 area code. John Gibson. John was here in December of last year. So, John, you have to remember to be tuned in.
Oh, I hope you're in. Another John.
John Gibson. You're going to get an email, and I'll draw one more name before we get done tonight. See if we can pull a winner out of the hat. Okay, here's another wine that John's got a deal on, and this one is killer. This is a 2007 Napa Valley Syrah. And tell everybody where the fruit came from for this wine.
This wine comes from vineyard on the corner of Trancas and Silverado Trail in Napa.
Okay. Is that like Oak Knoll?
I don't think it is.
Not quite
No,
there,
that would be
but it's
Napa
close.
Valley.
Okay.
Not quite the Oak Knoll yet. Really, if there was such a thing as the city of Napa, that's where it is. It's right in the outskirts of the city of Napa.
So you aged this in your normal program, right? I mean, about, 22 months?
This is about 40% new oak, and then the rest is 1 year old oak, pretty much just 1 year. And it sat in the barrel for 22 months, and then we bottled it. This just was really good fruit to start with. Nothing blended.
All Syrah.
100% Napa Valley Syrah.
So retail price on this wine is $48. But if you buy 6 bottles or more, you can have it for $20 a bottle, which is killer. And we're winding down to the last ends of that.
Scott, the first one to get the last 4 cases, and we're done. So we're virtually done with
Okay,
this.
so probably by next week, this may be just done. And again, this is a wine that, John, you clearly could lay this down another 5 or 7 years, easy. You buy one of the last cases that he's got. Not only are you getting a great price point, putting that aside, you got a cool wine that you can pull out anytime, and your friends and your neighbors that you have at dinner party are going to really dig this wine. And it's just going to get softer as it ages. I think it's got lots of life left. I mean, look at the color of that. It's beautiful. It's fabulous.
This is.
So it's not about discounting the wine because you want to get rid of it because it's an awful wine. It's just moving it through the pipeline, and it's a great bottle of wine. It's the best of both worlds.
This is the last Syrah I'm going to be making for a while. So it's sort of a keeper.
Yeah. Well, no argument to the finish. Magnificent. beautiful wine. I can enjoy this and not necessarily. Some Syrahs, I'm reaching for that ribeye right away just to kind of calm the thing down a bit. But this is pretty soft, and I can enjoy this as an everyday wine. Certainly at $20, I can enjoy it as an everyday wine. And I don't have to necessarily pair it up, but boy, if you did, you know, anything that you barbecue, you could easily enjoy that. And yeah, or Manchego cheese, which I did 2 weeks ago because I did it on every single
That's
wine,
right.
and it tasted just fine.
It was pretty delicious.
It did, right? It worked really well. So just another example of a really cool wine. You've made a real deal on it for everybody to enjoy it. The last few cases, and then it's done. And but another great example of you making killer wines, John. That was awesome. Awesome.
Thanks, Scott.
So let me give you guys a little rundown of what's going on this weekend at Cellars of Sonoma. On Thursday, we've got Ricky Allen Ray coming in on Thursday. We also have Bonneau Winery coming in. Rick and Diane are coming in on a meet and greet on Thursday. You don't have a slide for that. I know you had that funny look on your face, like, well, what slide was that, Scott? You didn't tell me. And then on Friday we have John Pita. He starts at 7:30. That's a new slide. You'll see that. And I was playing with that today. And then what's the gal's name? There's another slide there. Shauna Miller and the what is that? The Belly
And the Bear's Belly
Belly Duo.
Sounds interesting.
Okay, interesting. The girl sings like a bird. Unbelievable. That's going to be a great show. We'll have it up here in the library lounge where we are here. They're going to be very entertaining. We're going to have them in a couple of times over the next 2 months, so you get a chance to see them. So 3 nights of live music here at Cellars of Sonoma, and always something going on, always a reason to come and hang out. When you come to the tasting room, if you get hungry, you can order food from local restaurants and have it right here. It doesn't get any better. I have the best wine in the whole area without any doubt whatsoever. Occasionally you come in, you'll see a winemaker in the room. John visits all the time, as our other vintners do. And so can't go wrong with that. Right, John?
Absolutely not.
All right, let's see if we can get a winner. Let's go one more time, and we'll I'll get it. All right. Oh, look at Brad. He's going, I'm in there, man. Okay. All right. Go in there. Let's see what we get here. Well, you didn't dig very far.
I went down
That
the
could be
middle.
your advantage. That could be your advantage. Okay. Okay, so Barron Long, 415 area code.
Okay. That's
Barron Long, local.
like California.
San Francisco.
San Francisco.
That Bay Area.
Why don't you put the address on there?
Well, because I don't want to announce their personal address on the.
Okay.
They'll get all kinds of junk. But it's
And what are you
415.
worried about what area the 415's from?
Oh, no, I just like to know where they're from. Because some
Okay.
of those are, it's interesting, like that one is really weird. I've never seen that one before. That's a new one.
All right,
So
just
Barron
asking.
Long, you have won 10 bottles. You got about 2 seconds to give us a call. Wait till you get the email tomorrow. You're not going to be a happy camper. We'll keep doing this till we get a winner, and we'll have a winner at some point. Because Brad's he'll right down to the bottom of that bag, and yeah, he's gonna win it no matter what. So I want to thank all my bloggers for tuning in, Dan and Dazelle, and we've got Sean, and we've got Grace Hoffman, and our newest buddy Hobie is tasting that beautiful, beautiful rock pile wine, and we'll see what his comments are and what he thinks of that particular wine. I want to thank John for coming in and giving us all this insight on your wines. Keep making great wines. You're doing a fabulous job. We love that. And this is where you discover wine one sip at a time here at Cellars of Sonoma. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll see you next week. Bye for now.
Bye.